Hey guys, welcome back to Jen Tang channel this week. Now this week I would like to be sharing with you guys one of the topic that is very relevant to all of us, which is a topic on personal finance. And I think one of the biggest take or lesson that we have picked up from last year is the importance of having proper financial planning, or the importance of knowing how to manage your finances well, correct? So in this video, I would like to share with you guys a very simple money management tip so that you guys can pick up. For those of you who do not have a proper financial planning on how to manage your money, I strongly recommend you guys to take this as a reference, okay? But before that, I just wanted to share with you guys on some of the statistic that is generated by Bank Negara Malaysia and also AKPK. This statistics reflects clearly on the state that we are in, and it clearly shows the lack of financial awareness in our Malaysian society today, unfortunately. Yeah. According to the statistic that is generated by both AKPK and Bank Negara Malaysia, it is said that majority, about 75% of Malaysians find it challenging to raise even 1,000 ringgit of cash money in the event of emergency, and that is a very serious reality that we have to take note, because that reflects that most of Malaysian society today do not have the habit or do not have the knowledge in setting aside money for emergency fund. Okay, and then also majority youth today, about 39% of youth rely on personal loans, and also 47% of youth engage in expensive credit card borrowings. So today, I just wanted to be sharing with you guys a short video clip on a method on how to manage our money better. And this is a method that I use personally. I find it quite useful. It gives me the clarity on where my money go every single month, how much I'm earning and where does it flow to. And that is the first step in managing money, knowing your financial situation, and then you move on from there. Okay, so out there are actually many money management tips that also works, but the idea of it is to paint out a clear picture, to have clarity on where your money goes. And that is really important, because most of the time when we do not have a plan, when our money comes in, we just spend according to what we feel at the point of time. So most of the time we will give in to instant gratification, like luxurious dining experience. Once in a while it's still okay, but sometimes without proper planning, we will spend without understanding, do we need it or not? So if we live without a proper financial planning like this, then we will always end up at the end of the month, there is no additional money for emergency fund, for savings, for investment, and so on, and that is very dangerous. Okay, so today I would like to be sharing with you the money management tip that I use, also quite well known worldwide. It's called the 50-30-20 rule. So how does this 50-30-20 budget rule works? Now the 50-30-20 budget rule simplifies your budgeting by separating your net income into three very clear spending buckets. Okay, so it states that 50% of your net income should goes into your needs bucket, 30% of your net income goes into your want bucket, and then the remaining 20% goes into your savings or emergency fund or investment bucket. All right, so let's go into the first one, needs bucket. So the first thing that you need to be able to identify is, through your expenses, what are the things that you spend on that are necessities, something that you can't live without. For example, food, groceries, transportation, your insurance. So those are considered necessities. So you have got 50% of your net income to cover all that. Okay, and then we have the want bucket. Now the definition of want is the items or the services or the experience that you want to have, you like to have, but it is not a necessities. You can still survive without this category. So examples of wants are like the branded bags that you would like to have, or the boots, the clothing, or the movie experience, luxury dining experience, all these are considered wants. So you have got 30% of your net income to cater to your wants. The remaining 20% has to go into your savings. So that means this actually clearly paint a very good picture on how much money I can spend on needs, how much money I can spend on wants, and how much money that I have to set aside for savings. And under savings, you need to be also very clear what are the portion that goes into savings, emergency fund, and also to pay off major debt repayments if you have. So the idea here is before going to any investment, maybe the first thing that you need to take note is to reduce your debts first. And the other thing that is a priority here is emergency fund. So these are the two important things that is under the savings category. Okay, reduce your debt repayment, especially credit cards with high interest, and the other thing is to build your emergency fund. And of course, slowly you can gradually set up funds for other investment like down payment for a property and so on. Okay, so this 50-30-20 rule sets up a very clear picture on how much money I can spend on each category, and it gives you a better management on your money, because as you spend, you know how much I have remaining to spend on this category and that category, especially wants. So in order to manage your money well, you can actually do some adjustment from time to time. For example, you can actually review on your want bucket. Is there something that I can give up and sacrifice so that I can reach my financial goal earlier? Besides having this clear budgeting planning, you need to have a clear financial goal as well. For example, in 5 years' time, I need to have X number amount of emergency fund in my bank account. Okay, I need to have how much enough for me to pay down payment, things like that. So when you have a clear budgeting and you have a financial goal means you need to have a deadline for it, right? You need to list down clearly and work towards it. So with that in line, then you can keep your spending in check. And I know that, oh, I am far away from my financial goal. Now it's time to adjust a little bit on my wants and take a look in your necessity. Sometimes the things that I spend on groceries, on the needs, may not be the true necessity. So I can adjust on that. Okay, so with that in place, it will give you a very clear picture on your financial situation, and it also paints you a very clear picture on what are the gaps that can improve, and you move on from there step by step. And that's how we improve from time to time. But without having a proper financial planning, then we will just spend according to what we want, what we need, according to what's happening around us, and that is quite dangerous. Okay, another point that I want to also bring out is in terms of affordability, because I'm in the real estate industry. Sometimes they actually share to me that they have the affordability issue, right? Sometimes it could be due to market, but the way I see it, it is both sides, the market and also our own internal personal finance management, right? Let's say if we do not manage our money well, a lot of times our money goes into wants and we don't manage it clearly, we don't set aside funds for investment, for property, then definitely buying property is always a very expensive thing to do because it's not in the budget. Yeah, you need to fork out money and you don't have the money, so it is always not affordable. In the entire personal finance topic, I feel that the fundamentals is really important. The idea is to have a clear picture on your current financial situation and to see how we can improve on it. There are two ways to do it. Managing your expenditure is one thing. Clearly identify how much goes into which buckets. The other thing is also equally important, is to identify how do we increase our income, not only to manage the money, but also on how to increase the income sources. So that is where we have to focus on personal development, pick up new skills, and exploring different income sources to increase our income. Okay, so there you go. This is a personal money management budgeting tip that I find it quite useful, and it's also quite well known out there. The 50-30-20 rule, money budgeting rule. So I hope this video helps. You guys can take it as a reference, and I hope it creates some value. And thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.